and welcome back to the Entertainment Vortex. Today we were at Brendan Theaters watching Suburbicon. This is the Matt Damon movie directed by George Clooney. When I saw the trailer for this, I was super intrigued. It looked like a dark comedy, but it looked a little off-putting. Like, I really wanted to see what it was about, because while you get little snippets in the trailer, you don't really know what it's about. So now that I've seen the movie, I can say that it's definitely got its pros and cons. On the bad side, it's really slow. I felt that while they were establishing the story up to the midpoint of the movie, I just got bored in a lot of spots. As a matter of fact, I kept going, this feels like a Coen Brothers movie. Like, the way it flows, it's kind of Hail Caesar-ish. It's kind of got that feeling to it. And of course, at the end of the movie, I realized it was written by the Coen Brothers, so it makes perfect sense that it felt that way. I don't care for that pacing. I never have. None of their movies really hit me with the pacing. While I see good things in their movies, and the way they write, the pacing is not one of them. I just get bored.
This movie was not what I was expecting based on the trailers. Paints a little bit of a picture with the small amount of time that it has of what to kind of expect, and then it kind of throws all of that out the window once you actually sit down to watch this movie. So as far as the visual style, everything looks really good. Like I said, it has that kind of 50s feel to it. All of the cars are old. The way that people are dressed and their style is really interesting to see on screen. I feel like they did a really good job of getting into that period. As far as the actual movie itself,
well, this movie wasn't entirely what I expected. The trailer kind of leads you to believe that it's a comedy, a dark comedy, and that Matt Damon's the good guy, having a lot of mishaps, trying to deal with some bad guys. It's a bit more complicated than that, let's just say. As far as morality is concerned, this is Matt Damon's grayest role. He's not evil, he's not good either, for sure. The acting never falls flat. Oscar Isaac's scenes, though, I think pop out for me. He really had his character had a lot of charisma, had that easygoing kind of investigator regarding the insurance company. No spoilers, but just saying, if he got an Oscar for whatever reason for supporting actor just for that role, and that's the only Oscar the movie got, that's the one Oscar the movie deserves, is for Oscar Isaacs. Get an Oscar for Oscar Isaacs. Yeah, Oscar for Oscar. Anyway, moving on. Of course, as you know, this movie's set in the 1950s, and it's purposely made it to look very clean, nice, pretty, and like the 1950s TV shows often try to paint a picture of, whereas behind the scenes, it's a lot different than that.
The story itself, while presented slowly, was interesting. Like, I wanted to see what was going to happen next. And they have this whole moral thing that's going on at the same time. This duality thing that I can't go into without ruining it. But I really dug that. I really liked the idea that you kind of have to come to the conclusion on your own of what they're trying to say. They don't shove the moral in your face, and you just kind of learn as time goes on. And at the end, you're just kind of going, wow, that's pretty effed up. But I like the story. Now, at the same time, there are some scenes in this that you really have no freaking idea what's going to happen. Like, it starts, and they kind of establish what they're going for, and you're like, okay, I kind of see where we're going. And I'm like, but where is this going to end? Like, knowing what's happened before, you have no idea where they're going with it. And I like that. I like that little bit of mystery in those scenes. Those scenes seemed very exciting. There was 2 or 3 of them, and you'll know exactly which scenes when you watch it that I'm talking about. Those I really dug. Those didn't feel slow. Those felt intriguing, and those felt very on the edge of your seat like, and I love that.
Well, I don't necessarily agree that there were these large pacing issues. I do feel like sometimes it kind of hits you over the top of the head with the story every once in a while. And there were things that I felt like if they'd kind of held off on them a little bit further, it might have, at least in my personal opinion, would had a little more impact, whereas I don't believe it had that same impact for me. As far as the acting is concerned, I felt like the main cast, puts in good performances. It's not something to write home about. It's not going to be anything that you're going to see coming up next year during Oscar season. Definitely one of those movies that, it just comes out at this time of the year. It's not your late November, December, Oscar grabby kind of ones. It's your, this was the place to put that movie.
We'll also say this is better than Hail Caesar. The more interesting things happen. And yes, it's slow-paced, and I personally believe it's slow-paced to give you the feel of how supposedly nice and slower and easier life was in the 1950s compared to today's fast-pacedness. But also, when the crap hits the fan, you get that comparison, and suddenly, out of the blue, from the slow-pacedness, you get this abrupt fast-pacedness, and suddenly things are happening. I think that was the purpose for the slow-pacedness, but it kind of hinders viewers' attention, I believe. They could have cut out some scenes. Some jokes fell flat because of the awkward silence, as Nick may have pointed out.
So, the good side is the story's really good, the acting's really good, the actual moral and basic concepts of it are really good, the pacing's just atrocious. especially for the first half. I was super bored in the first half. They established things super slow, and I'm not sure why they chose to do that. I guess it's just kind of the Coen Brothers style, is to really linger on things. I did enjoy it overall. I'm glad I saw it. Not something I'm going to see again or run out and buy, but I'm glad I saw it. I'm really glad I saw it. I'm going to give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. It's worth a watch if you were intrigued by the trailer, but it's definitely not something I'm running to the theater with my wallet out for, but I am glad I saw it.
Stories themselves, it was interesting to kind of see the way that they piece things together without trying to give too much away. It was one of those things where I saw the things that were happening and then it would go to a different scene, and it almost felt like it was two movies kind of pushed together. Overall, I would give this movie a 6 out of 10. Not something that I would have put my wallet down on the line and said, I'm going to go see this in theaters if it had come down to that. But if I saw it coming across my Netflix feed, I might give it a shot then, just because I have seen the trailer, and the trailer was interesting enough to kind of draw my attention.
But overall, I have mixed feelings about this movie. There were good things about it, there were not so good things about it, but I was entertained for the most part. It was interesting. I laughed. Sometimes I got upset at some of the things that were happening at other times, so it's kind of like, what genre is this? And I'm told it's black comedy. Black comedy is a little iffy for me. I'm not sure if I like it or love it. It depends just on the screenplay, I suppose. And in this case, it was okay. It wasn't terrible by any means, not necessarily, but it wasn't way up there Oscar worthy. Except for Oscar Isaacs. Oscar for Oscar. Out of 10, I'm going to give this a 7.5. If not for the slow pacing, I might have given it an 8. Matt Damon does a good job with his character. Oscar Isaac does, of course, like I keep saying. Julianne Moore playing an interesting role there, but there you go. Makes you curious. Go see the movie if you're like the Coen Brothers, because they wrote this movie. And if you think George Clooney is good as a director, this is a great movie. If you like 1950s genre movies that are also black comedies, which is a weird combination, I might add, you'll love this movie.
So we're curious to know, what is your favorite movie based in the 1950s? Being as this one's based in the 50s, we're interested to see what your favorite movie from that time era is. Leave that down in the comment section below, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel to see movie reviews every week, Funko Pop videos starting this week. We're really excited about that, and of course, the Star Wars film coming up. That is going to be awesome. You don't want to miss it. Then join us on our brother channel, the PC Gaming Vortex, where we have gaming content every week, starting probably next week. You don't want to miss out on any of this great content. It's going to be fun. I hope you'll follow us into the Vortex. We'll see you next time.